Good evening, everyone. So, we'll take the presentations in order of the raised hand. We have Nishant first. Nishant, you can start your presentation. I'll unmute you.
Yes, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Yes. So I'm not able to share my
Yeah,
screen.
you're audible.
Mhm. Is my screen visible?
Yeah, it is visible. You can start.
Yes. So good evening, everyone. I'm Nishant, and my task name is to get started with AWS S3, and I'm from the Cloud Computing Group. So here are the table of contents for this presentation. So what is AWS S3? AWS S3 is an object storage service that offers scalability, data availability, security, and boost performance. All customers can use AWS S3 to store and protect any amount of data for any range of use cases and for any mobile application or web application, and to backup and restore archive enterprise applications, IoT devices, and big data analytics. So Amazon S3 provides management features so that you can optimize, organize, and configure access to your data and meet your specific business or organizational requirements. So the components of S3 are S3 version. So you can use S3 versioning to keep multiple variants of an object in the same bucket. So the next component is keys. So an object key or key name is the unique identifier for an object within the bucket. Each object in a bucket has exactly one key. So the next component is objects. Objects are the fundamental entities stored in Amazon S3. Objects consist of data and metadata. So buckets. A bucket is a container for objects stored in Amazon S3. You can store up to 100 buckets in a single account. So the next component is access control list. So you can use access control list to grant or read or write permissions to authorized users for individual buckets and objects. So the next component is access points. AWS S3 access points are named network endpoints with dedicated access policies that describe how the data can be accessed using that endpoint. So the next is bucket policy. A bucket policy is an resource-based IAM policy. IAM stands for Identity and Access Management, that you can use to grant permissions to the bucket or that the users can access. So the next is version ID, where you can enable S3 versioning in a bucket. S3 generates a unique version ID for each object added to the bucket. So the types of storage classes in S3. S3 offers various storage classes for example, in free tier, we have S3 standard, and moving on, we have S3 intelligent tiering, S3 standard IA, and S3 one zone IA, and Glacier instant retrieval, Glacier flexible retrieval, and Glacier deep archive. So they are accessed frequently or infrequently. So yeah, as you can see in this diagram, most of the users use S3 standard frequently, and in order to archive the data, they use S3 Glacier Deep Archive. So moving on. So the advantages of S3 are it allows the users to create buckets and to store data in those buckets, and it also allows to download that data and give permissions to multiple users in order to access that bucket. It provides it security as it is very secure. Most of the users in an organization use S3 in order to store data. So taking a real life example, suppose you want to create the next Facebook. So the users in Facebook upload profile pictures or download some pictures in that. So you can save those pictures in a S3 bucket. So as saving binary files in an SQL is very costly. So you can use instead you can use an S3 bucket which AWS provides. So the features of S3 are storage classes. S3 provides a wide range of storage classes and storage management. S3 has storage management features that you can use to meet the requirements. And also this allows users to reduce cost and latency and save multiple distinct copies of data for your requirements. So the next feature is access management. S3 provides features for auditing and managing your bucket and objects. S3 also offers analytics and insights to your bucket. It helps you to gain visibility into your storage usage, and which allows you to understand better that what all objects are getting stored into your bucket, and you can also provide the users with their insight that the objects they are storing take so this much space, and they have stored for this much time, so you can charge them accordingly. So the task objectives were to create an S3 bucket in AWS Management Console, and to learn about S3 service and to gain more insights in order to manage cloud infrastructure operations for Hyperweather. So now I'll show you my demonstration. So here I have logged in into the S3 console, and I have created a bucket named as demo Hyperweather. So here I have given various lifecycle rules. So these lifecycle rules, as I explained, we can create a standard bucket, and over a period of time, the data in that bucket can be archived using Glacier, which S3 provides. So here I have provided the necessary lifecycle rules, and I have created a specific IAM user for this bucket, and the user's name is Jake in this case. And I have provided Jake with S3 policy, that is this policy, so that he can access the objects stored in this demo Hyperweather bucket. Here you can see the policy name and what all actions the user I have created can perform. So here you can upload the user can upload any files that you want. So I'll add one file. And select upload. So here the file is getting uploaded. Similarly, when the file is uploaded, the user can also access it through any device. The only requirement is that the user should have the necessary policy. So here, if the user wants to download this file, he can easily download it. So here I will go into my bucket, and you can see the screenshot that I have uploaded is visible over here. So if the user wants to access this screenshot, all he needs is this object URL. So I'll copy this URL and paste it in my browser. So as you can see, this policy is not applicable as I have logged in into my root user. So as I explained, that I have created an IAM user named as Jake. So I'll open another browser. In this, I have logged in as Jake, and I have all the access to the demo Hyperweather bucket and the object stored in it. So I'll reload this. So here you can see the screenshot that I have uploaded. And if this user wants to download the screenshot, we'll click on this. It is showing as an error as I have logged in into multiple buckets over here. So I have also created another bucket named as GG demo Hyperweather. So as you can see over here, the object uploaded in this bucket is visible to Jake, and in this bucket, he will not be able to see the objects in this bucket, as it is showing here the permissions are not allowed in order to see the bucket and the objects in it. So continuing with my presentation. So in conclusion, we have successfully used S3 for storing data and for also for data retrieval. So here are the references that I have used for making this presentation. So thank you so much for your attention. For any queries, you can email me in the specified email ID. So thanks a lot.
Nishant, that was a good presentation from your side.
Thank you.
We'll move on to the next candidate. Today we have many candidates. Koushik Siddhartha.
Yes, sir. Sir, I'm using my phone. Can I share it with in laptop, sir?
Yeah, you can do it. Which so I'll unmute this. Do tell me video when you start with it.
So 1 minute. Sir, is I audible?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, sir. So this was my actually my name is Koushik Siddhartha. I'm currently working as a full stack web developer, and my team leader is S. Chandra Upadhyay. So my table of contents are a doctor appointment page and SRS document, JavaScript concepts, and a JavaScript interactive web page. So firstly is a task one, that is a doctor appointment page. So doctor appointment page. Firstly, the need of the doctor appointment page is like patients require their favorite doctor so that they can get treatment. So the use of the page is that the patient can get the favorite doctor by just typing the
Koushik, your mic is not audible. Koushik, you're still not audible. You had your another. Koushik, you can stop your presentation now. You're not audible. Try to fix your mic and come back for that. So next we have Siddhartha. Pallavi, you can start your presentation. Two 2019053 Pallavi. I'm audible.
Yes.
Yeah, you can start your presentation.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Can I share my screen?
Yeah.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dharavath Pallavi, and I'm currently doing my full stack development. Uh, and my team leader is Kathpalia. And my tasks are I have completed till now. I have completed 4 tasks. Those are doctor appointment page, SRS document, JavaScript concept, and JavaScript interactive website. In task one, I have created a Figma design, UI design using Figma tool, and this is my design page. And then I have created a database in PHP and I have written a backend code. And then by using Postman testing, I have tested that code, backend code. And then using jQuery, I have
Pallavi, why
connected
isn't
this.
your video on?
Sir?
Your video should be on while presenting.
Actually, I have problem with my laptop, Microsoft. So I have used my phone.
Then Pallavi, try to sort it out. Join with a phone or something, because without the audio or video, both, you cannot be allowed to present.
It's showing that my camera is unable to access influence.
Try now.
It's my video.
No, still not visible. Pallavi, get your video and audio. Your audio is coming clear, but your video is not clear.
Yes. One. Due to some Wi-Fi problem.
Yeah, stop.
Can I rejoin?
Can you try to restart it from the just restart your presentation? Okay.
Okay.
Pallavi, are you there? Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
what happened?
One
Just go ahead and you continue.
it's due to data for the Wi-Fi problem. It's my video visible, sir.
It's not visible to yeah, it's visible. You can start.
Is it visible?
Yeah, it's visible. It's visible. You can start the presentation. Uh, Start from the very start itself.
Yes. Yes. Good evening, sir. This is Pallavi. I'm working as a full stack web developer. My team leader is S. Kathpalia, and I have completed 4 tasks till now. First one is the doctor appointment page, and in doctor appointment page by using Figma design, I have Figma tool. I have created UI design using Figma tool, and then I have created a database using PHP MyAdmin, and then I have written a backend code in PHP MyAdmin. Then by using Postman tool, I have tested the code. Then using jQuery, I have connected front-end and backend backend. And then I have hosted a website in 0 host, and this is my uh, web page, and where I can search any doctor and area, so the doctor is available. For example, I need a general physician, and the area is okay. This doctor is found. That is Dr. Praveen. So this is my first task, and then the task is SRS document. In the SRS document, uh, creation process involves several steps like defining the project scope, identifying the stakeholders, and listening to the functionals of it. And this is the SRS document model for TM master web application. And then my task 3 is data type variable operators in JavaScript, where I have defined the strings, numbers, and boolean. And this is my JavaScript uh, with data variables, and I have defined the data variables, data types, and variables and operators in JavaScript. And this is the example. I have defined all the operators and operators. In the task force is I have learned the JavaScript before task. So by that I have make a way. I have made a web interactive project, that is a Java project BMI BNW web calculator, BMI web calculator, and these are the CSS style code. This is the HTML code. And uh, this is So I've calculated the CML cases. So this is the result I have got in the presentation, in the BMI calculator. Thank you.
What happened? You went straight for the thank you. Explain nothing but in between. The presentation went like it was meant to be finished in 10 seconds. What happened? Okay, so see, I could not even write the task name of the 4 tasks that it went so far. So, can you tell me which one is the 4 task? Yeah. Okay. Do pay attention to your review when once you get it, okay? So that you learn from it. Try to better it next time, okay? Next we'll go for, you can stop presenting, and Pallavi, please put your email ID as well at the bottom, okay? The chat you can put, Pallavi. So next we have Divyansh Kumar.
I'm starting my video.
Oh, okay.
Is my PPT visible?
Yeah, it was okay.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Divyansh Kumar Mahavar. I am a third year IT student at Sarojini College of Engineering and Technology, Surat. I joined Hagveda on 16 February 2023 at a web developer group. This is my email, divyanshkm503@gmail.com. So today we will be having a presentation on functions, scopes, and closure in JavaScript. Topics we are going to cover is what is JavaScript and functions, scope, closures. Then we have a demo code. Then it will be in conclusion and sources. Then last will be Q&A session. So what is JavaScript? JavaScript is a dynamic language that is used for web development in web applications or web games and much more. Its main feature is that it allows you dynamic features on web pages, so you can dynamically changes your web pages. So without JavaScript, all we have on the web will be HTML, CSS, and that alone will be static, and only few animation with CSS. HTML defines this for understanding the relationship between HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. We can think that HTML as a skeleton of a human body that provides a structure, and CSS as a skin of the body that provides the looks, how it looks and feels. And there is JavaScript. JavaScript provides the functions like function is how it changes your screen, the animation, the update. So it will be like an organ in our human body. Then this have a function. Functions are one of the building blocks of JavaScript programming. They are used to group a set of related instructions together and give them a name, which can be called and executed multiple times throughout the program. So basically, it is a piece of code which is enclosed with the name, so you can call it again without having writing the whole function again. Functions can take input parameters and return output values, making them flexible and powerful for solving a wide range of problems. Then there is scope. Scope is an area of the program where a variable is defined and can be accessible. JavaScript has two types of variable, global and function. Two types of scope, global scope and function scope. Global scope variables are accessible from anywhere in the program, while function scope variable are only accessible within the function, not outside. Proper use of scope can prevent variable name collision and make code easier to read and understand. This is another picture which explains the scope. As you can see, the global scope, it is divided into global scope G, which is global. Then is the function scope. The function scope can access is on variables defined O outer, and as well it can access the outer and outer variable G. As but G cannot access the inner variable O. Similarly, there is another function which is inside the outer function. It can access the itself I variable, then its outer variable O, and even outer G. G is a global variable, but as you can see, global and function scope cannot access the I variable. It is just the innermost variable. And what is then there is a closure. Closure are a powerful feature of JavaScript that allows the function to access variable from the outer functions even after the outer function has been completed execution. As you know, once the function is executed, the variable which is created in during this execution is destroyed. So it can only exist as long as function is running. Closures can be used for creating private variables and functions, as well as for maintaining states across multiple function calls. Now we have an example code. I'll show it. As you can see, this is our code, and this is the output. And we are declaring a global variable here, hello world. Then we have then we are defining a function. Now function can be defined and defined with parameter or without a parameter. As you can see, this is with parameter, this is without parameter. We are defining a variable greeting inside the function, so it is only visible or accessible inside the function greet. Then another function is that specifying a function that uses a closure. As you can see, this function is defining a variable message, which is the global variable is. Then there is another function inside the global variable function. So it is known as the nested function that returns the message plus the global variable. Then global variable is our this hello world. Then it returns display message. As you can see, then this all of this is only a definition, and then we will calling the function here. This is the output which is actually document.element.id. So it will pick up this element here. We have a message. We are generating a variable greeting message, which called function greet John. So it will go this function name. It will take John, so it will be hello plus John and exclamation mark. So it will be this. You can see. So as you can see, we have changed the inner HTML here. So if you show this message, it will be hello John. Then we are calling the shadow global variable function after the result. This will show the source of the closure function. As you can see, it will plus display if we calling display message, so global variable. So it will call this function. We call this function if we generate this message, which is which is generated during this run and destroyed as when it's returned. But we have calling on the function. This is the display message. This is the next end function inside the variable. So even if this is destroyed, it can be still accessible. So this is what the actually closure does. Even if the your function variable is destroyed, you can still access it. So this one is actually accessing this message variable, which is the inside this here, and a global variable, so defined here. So we are again adding, this is a plus equal sign. So again adding the global variable message, which is here, hello world. So our output will be this. Global variable is hello world. So conclusion is that the function scope, and closure are essential concept in JavaScript programming. They allow developers to write more modular, efficient, and maintainable code, which can be reused across multiple parts of program. Understanding this concept can help developers with write cleaner, more efficient, and more effective JavaScript code. These are the sources. So if anyone wants to read more about it, they can read this source. Thank you. It's over. And is there any questions?
Okay, everyone. So I think there are no questions from. Firstly, the presentation. Try not to read things from the slide. Okay. Get them into key points. Then try to summarize. Then try to read out those key points in your head. So you have information related to those key points. Right? Try to give those information, give that information while you see those key points. Rather than that, other thing you did well in the presentation. The demo, you didn't need to explain the whole code. That is fine. Okay. You can just explain the functionality of the code. Everything else was fine. Okay. We'll go on to the next presentation. Thank you for your presentation. Divyansh.
Thank you, sir.
Divyansh, please put your email ID in the chat as well.
Okay, sir.
Koushik Siddhartha, you can start your presentation.
Yes, sir. Sir, is my screen is visible? So myself, Koushik Siddhartha. Myself, Koushik Siddhartha. So
Yeah,
I am
wait,
working as a
Koushik,
full stack web
Koushik,
developer.
wait.
Yes, sir.
I haven't seen your screen. Okay,
Sir.
this is your screen, right? Yeah, now.
Sir, is my screen?
Yeah, your screen was visible. It was just that it was out of the recording part. You can start your presentation again. Okay.
Okay.
You can start, Koushik.
Okay. Myself, Koushik Siddhartha. So I'm working as a full stack web developer. So my team leader is Upadhyay, sir. And then the table of contents, the first one is doctor appointment page, and second is SRS document, and third one is some of the JavaScript concepts, and fourth are some Java interactive web page. So first task is a doctor appointment page. Then firstly, the need of the doctor appointment page is that the patient can find out their favorite doctors in their local area. So just the patient need to type the category and the local area and their area, and if they press the search button, they can find out their favorite doctors here, and they can go with that. So for creating this page, I just use the Figma. So everything, this font size and everything, I just created in the Figma. Then after creating this, I just convert the Figma design into the HTML code by using the loco file. So and also I have added some hover effect in loco file and everything. Then after creating this after creating the HTML code, I have created the database by using my admin PHP. So in that, I'm just given the doctor information, everything. So doctor name and doctor area, everything. After creating the database, I use the backend, and here is the PHP code. I connected the backend and a database by using this given the information that username, password, everything. So I connected the backend to the database, and after creating that, I tested this into the I tested the website in the Postman testing. So my here is was my search results, and I connected the front end by using the jQuery. So in this the general, like here we can see that the general category and local area. So I just connected the front end here by using the jQuery. So so then after that, I just created the I just uploaded all the files into the web host so that it can be accessible for everyone. So here I just uploaded here every file. So the second thing is that the second task I have done the SRS document. So the SRS document is very necessary. Like it's like a blueprint for the developers and the clients. The clients can provide the necessary information, everything to the developers. There are the functional and non-functional requirement, and creating system architecture, defining use cases, data requirements, testing requirements, project timeline. So everything we can finalize in SRS document. So the process starts with reviewing the relevant discussions videos. So gather details on software requirements, and ends with the finalizing the SRS documents and sharing it with the development team. So the Hackweather team provided us the video playlist. So we watched the everything on the video playlist, and we have created the most important required flow chart, so that it's necessary to build any application or development thing. So the software requirements is based on the importance on urgency and criticality of the medical domain, and the SRS document is reviewed and refined with the stakeholders and to ensure that meets their expectations and finalized before the development process begins. So here is the flowchart. Here is the flowchart for the TM Web Master application. So the patient want to book appointment, and the registration process will be done, and the patient want to select the package. After selecting the package, he should pay the some amount. After paying that, the payment, if the payment has been received, then it will be stored in the backend, and then finally the doctor give the TM summary reports to the reports, and they will prepare the die chart, and after completing the course, or the patient can rejoin it by paying amount. So this was the like a loop. Then the task third was I just learned was data types, variables, and operators in JavaScript. So firstly, data types. So first thing is strings. The strings are we can write the strings like in the single quotes or double quotes, and the number, the numeric values including integers, decimals, and the nan, and the boolean is a true or false, like 0 or 1. So 0 is a false and 1 is a true. So null, a value representing a nothing, empty, or undefined. And undefined is a variable, like a variable without a value assigned to it. An object, and a complex data types used to store the collection of the data in functions and other objects. As you know that we're using the objects in C++ also. So it's like in the class we find out the objects, everything. So here are the variables. So variables are used to store data values in JavaScript. They can declare using the var, let, const keywords. So the var used to declare a variable with a function or a global scope. The let used to declare the variable with a block scope. It can be also it can be only be accessed with the block it was declared. And the const used to declare a variable with a block scope and cannot be reassigned a new value. So we cannot change the old value to the new value because the const will keep it a constant. Like we cannot change it anything. So here are the example of it. So var a is equal to 5, let z is equal to 6, and constant m is equal to 10. So arithmetic operations. So it's very important. So we can do the addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, any increment process. So it's all considered as the arithmetic operations. And the comparison operators used to compare the values, and it will return the true or false. Like we will use the equal to signs, not equal to signs, greater than signs. So this all the things. Then the logical operator is used to return a true or false value, including AND operator. Like if there is also AND operator, then the statement will check the both ones. And if there is a OR operator, if only the one variable or one arithmetic operation is true, then the whole scope will be true. So here is the assignment operators used to assign the values to including the equal to, plus equal, plus equals, minus equals, multiply equals, divide equals, modulus equals. So here are the few example of this. Then after the task 4 is that making the web interactive project by using the JavaScript. So here I build the calculator web app. So here how it is like, it's like a simple web app calculator. So firstly, I just created the HTML. Here are the few buttons I just created here. So and I created it in the calculator grid. So I just using the div I just created this thing, and so the HTML code created the buttons for each number of operands. I also added the classes for the buttons to so that we can use them in CSS and JavaScript. I have created the divs for each of the category and parts of the. So here I created the CSS. So I just designed it by using the CSS. So here the calculator grid and the buttons and everything, the background, here you can see the background. So I just created it by using this CSS property. So the section should provide a detailed explanation of the designs choose made for the project, including the color schemes, typography, layout, and overall style. So then I use the JavaScript. Like JavaScript is like writing a logical code. Like it's like a simple language. So the JavaScript enables the user interactivity with the website. Here I use the classes to interact with the number of operands. I also write the logic for the calculations of the result from the buttons entered by the user, and it will display on the appropriate position. So I use the switch cases for doing the operation. So like if the user press the button like multiplication or plus sign. So here the by using the switch case we can do the operation. Like it will run on the switch break case. And for display I use the other functions. So for each category I use the other functions. So here is the code, and I will show you how my calculator looks. 1 minute, sir. So here is the calculator. Like I will show you the two page. So here is a file. So it was working properly, and here is my web application, like a doctor page, appointment page. So I just type at the ophthalmologist and the area. So I get the doctors in my local area. So this is how it works, the doctor appointment page. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, that's it. Okay, sir. I completed my presentation. Thank you.
Okay, so Kaushik, how many presentations did you give?
Sir,
How many presentations did you give?
I have done the 4 presentations, sir. In
Can you
only
give
one
me
slide.
the last presentation's topic again?
Calculator.
It was just the implementation of your site. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, Kaushik, you can stop presenting.
Okay, sir.
So we go to Aditya Kumar.
Yes.
So you can start your presentation.
So I hope you can hear me, sir.
Yeah, really audible.
Yes, sir. So good evening, everyone. Myself, Aditya Kumar. I am from Web Development Group, and I will be presenting on Doctor's Appointment landing page. So the major goal of this project was to let users find doctors in their nearby area and let them pick the best one according to their preferences, so that moving forward they can book an appointment with them. And so I've implemented a search feature for the same purpose on the web page. So let's look at the tools which I use to make the web page. So for front end, for making the custom design of my web page, I've used Figma tool. And here's the screenshot of the same.
Aditya, are you presenting?
Sorry, sir.
Start over, okay?
Okay, sir. Yes, sir. I hope you can see it now.
Now it is visible. You can start.
Sure. Good evening, everyone. Myself, Aditya Kumar. I am from Web Developer Group, and I will be presenting on my doctor's appointment landing page. So the major goal of this project was to let users find doctors in their nearby area and let them pick the best one according to their preferences, and moving forward, schedule an appointment with them. So I've implemented a search feature in the web page for the same purpose. So here's so let's look at the tools which I've used to make the web page. So for creating the custom design of my web page, I've used the Figma tool, and here's the screenshot of the same. And to convert this Figma design into raw HTML and CSS code, I've used Locofy, which really came in handy because it was already integrated as a plugin in the Figma software. So I've used PHP as backend language for coding my web service, and for database part, I've used PHP MyAdmin, which is used for administrating the MySQL database. Basically, here's a screenshot of my database, which includes the doctor details, which can be searched. So for testing my PHP web service, I've used the Postman software, which to ensure the proper functionality and working of my web service. Here's the screenshot for the same, where I'm passing the input values as post parameters and getting the response in HTML. So here's the jQuery code, which is used to make a request to the server and fetch the response and manipulate the DOM. So if you look at the code here, I am I've applied a click event on search button, and which is retrieving the input values, doctor type, doctor area, and sending them as post parameters to the web service, which sends a response, and I'm manipulating the HTML document with it. So for hosting
my website, I've used the 000 web host platform. Is a screenshot of the files on the platform. Now let's look at my website. So here's my website. Here's the web page. Here's my logo. Here's the nav bar, here's my logo and menu buttons. I've applied some effects using Locofy on it. Here's the banner page, service page, and here's the search feature. So if you write here the doctor specialty, if you need to search for a dentist, write down, you can get it. And if you don't type anything and search for it, you can get all the doctor details here. Here's my description page. So this was for my demo. So in conclusion, I would like to say that this project was a very valuable learning experience for me. I've used various tools while building this web page, which has really increased my skills and understanding of web app development. These are the references. Please feel free to ask any question. Thank you. So, sir, I have 2 more presentations.
Okay, you can continue, Aditya.
Okay, sir. So this is our SRS document for TM Master Web App. What is SRS? SRS is a document that is basically used to describe the function performance standards of a project. It basically acts as a guide for the development team to build the web app, and it also specifies the functionality of the product for the needs to satisfy the needs of the stakeholders, basically. So the purpose of this SRS is basically to give a thorough explanation of the features of the web application so that it can be helped. It can help hospitals to convert their manual procedures into digital ones. It also helps various doctors to assess patients and provide appropriate treatment to them. It also makes the communication between doctors and patient effective and easier with its communication interface. So these were the steps involved in making my SRS. Let's look at them in detail in my SRS document. So this is my SRS document. So the basic goal was to give a thorough explanation of the usefulness and features of the web application to help doctors and patients. Here's the scope, and the stakeholders of our patient would be patients, doctors, and chefs. Patients can make an appointment on the web page, the web app. Doctors can examine them, and chefs can make diet plans for them. The functional requirements would be patient evaluation for proper patient assessment on the web page from web application, patient data management to store all details about a patient, including their medical history, coloring interface, which will store which is really used by doctors to fulfill the dietary needs of patient and provide them with proper diet plan, individual diet program. Basically helps doctors to provide specialized diet plans and publish them on the website. Communication interface for effective communication between doctors, patients, and chefs. Non-functional requirements would be the performance so that the web app can hold a significant number of users at the same time. can interact, a significant number of users can interact. The same, then the security, so that to prevent the unauthorized access or any malware. Then there's user friendliness, so that a user finds it easy to interact with the web app. And then there's high priority requirements. Amongst all these requirements, patient evaluation, image analysis, communication interface, security, performance, user friendliness. So possible use case scenarios would be doctors assessing the patient and providing them with the proper diet plan through the web app. The patient gets a diet plan, and like they can, which will be available on the web app. Cook makes food according to a diet plan. Doctor examines patient record so that it can keep track of the patient medical background and provide proper treatment, inventory management, and statistics and analytics. Data requirements would be patient data, which will include his name, age, gender, medical history, and present condition. Next is user data, which is the user's usernames and passwords, which will be required for proper authentication and authorization of the user. Diet program data, basically to store diet plans. System config data, inventory data, again reports, analytics data. Testing requirements would be functionality testing, which includes user interface testing APIs, database, usability testing, which can be conducted by a small amount of group, which is like a small focus that represents applicable usability testing that which can be conducted using a specific group of people for which the web app is intended to be made. Interface testing, which will include the testing of application, web server, and database server. Database testing, compatibility testing, which performance testing, and security testing again. I'll be providing the reference for this SRS if someone wants to look into it as deeply as possible. Here's the project timeline, which is first is planning and analysis, which will be around which this stage can last for around 2 to 4 weeks. Development phase, which will include the development of user interface, database, the whole code development. It can last around 8 to 12 weeks. Testing phase, which can last around 4 to 6 weeks. Development phase 2 to 4. So basically, the total duration can be 16 to 26 weeks. This was for my SRS document. Here's the flow chart, which covers all the possible scenarios the web app can cover while interacting with the patient. So first, from the starting, the patient can make an appointment, go through the registration process. If he fails, they can leave or try again. Then they have to fill an evaluation form, join the program. They can also leave in between, try again. They can then, moving forward, they can select the package, go through the whole billing process, pay for it, and the payment details will get stored in the backend of the web app. Then doctors can provide them with the proper reports and diet plans. The web app will also be responsible for sending regular reminders at regular intervals. And after the completion of the plan, the patient can leave it or rejoin. So the conclusion is, the development of this SRS document was an essential step for the success, to assure the success of the Team Master web app. It also helps in assuring that the application offers seamless user experience, security, user friendliness, and also it is built using current technologies. These are the references. including the reference for the SRS document. Feel free to ask any question. Thank you. This was my second. This is my third presentation. Good evening, everyone. Myself, Aditya Kumar from Web Developer Group, and I'll be presenting on Introduction to JavaScript and its core principles. So I'll be going through first what is JavaScript, its applications, advantages, disadvantages, and working of JavaScript code on a web page. So what is JavaScript? It is basically a scripting language which is used for creating dynamic content on a web page. So basically it is used to implement dynamic features on a web page, which cannot be done using HTML and CSS. Application JavaScript would be, so first is web applications. So various web application can be built using JavaScript, various JavaScript frameworks like React and Angular, which can be used for developing and building robust web applications, which is these frameworks are helpful because developers don't have to write code from scratch every time. Then there's server applications, which can be built using the Node.js JavaScript framework. Which lets developers to build web servers and backend infrastructure, which makes it the frameworks makes it easier for developer, which is a good thing. Interactive behavior on websites. So interactive behavior on websites is a core function of the JavaScript, and which cannot be provided by HTML CSS. Advantages of JavaScript is its simplicity. So because of its simple structure, it can be easily understood and implemented both by the users and the developers. Interoperability, it is compatible with various other programming languages like PHP and Perl. Therefore, it is preferred by many developers. Less server load is basically as JavaScript works on the client side. The requests, the queries which are made to the server are significantly less because of that. Disadvantages would be browser compatibility, as every browser interprets the same JavaScript code differently. So which makes it difficult for a developer, because before the deployment of a project, in the testing phase, they have to test it in every browser, which is a problem. Client-side security is so the JavaScript code is visible to the user, which makes it vulnerable to malicious purposes. Debugging, so browsers don't have a feature for any warning or detecting of errors, which is a challenging thing to face. Working of JavaScript code on a web page. So basically, when a user visits a web page, the browser runs a script along with the HTML CSS code and creates a functional page on the browser tab. So this script runs on the user machines, which is on the client side and not on the server side, which is faster. So how to add JavaScript code to a website? So there's 3 ways to do that. First is embedding it using script tags is an example in the HTML. So you can use script tags and write your JavaScript code in it and just include it in a HTML code. Next is inline code. Basically, so in your tag, you can use attributes like on click, and just in this way you can also include your JavaScript code. Next, the external file, you can make a separate file of the .js format and include it in your HTML file using source attribute of a script tag. So the conclusion is JavaScript is often used alongside HTML CSS to add interactivity to the websites. It also has various external libraries which provides advanced functionality so that developers doesn't have to code everything from scratch every time. Now let's look at the demo. So here's a simple to-do list which I've made using JavaScript. So you can add an item here like task 1, task 2. I can write my task here, and as I click on this add button, it gets added. So I can also delete them using this cross button, and if I have completed it, I can click on them and then they turns green, which is a useful feature. Now let's look at the code. So here's the simple HTML code. I've used a head tag for the heading, p tags for the instructions, button tag for the plus button, input tags, input and button tags. Here's the development where I'll be where I add the items using the JavaScript code. Here's the JavaScript code. There are 3 variables basically: button, input, and list. So I applied an event, click on the button. As I click on the add button, this make list function gets called, which first checks if there's an input. If there is, this whole code gets it runs. So first, basically, this HTML code gets added to my main HTML code, so that the list it's displayed on the web page. So here's the whole code for deleting button. So I've accessed all the buttons, all the tasks, and all the cross buttons on the task, and applied on click event, so that I click on them and they get moved using this. And this is a code for turning their color into green as I click on them. So here's the case if there isn't any input. Now let's so these are the references and the GitHub repo link. Please feel to ask any question. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Okay, so Aditya,
Yes, sir.
you can stop presenting first. Yeah. Firstly, do put your email address in the chat. Okay? And
Sure, sir.
secondly, your flow for the presentation could be bettered in a way so that it doesn't sound monotone. It's sounding like you're giving, you were just like reading. How reading sounds like it is very monotone. Correct. So if you try to modulate your voice, you can give better presentations that way. Secondly, you have included everything there was to include. Okay. That was a good part on your side. But from the second time on itself, you have explained the demo and the codes separately, correct? Give me a glance of your codes from the next what you do is give me a glance of your codes after you give the demo. And in the demo itself, suppose you have made a to-do list. So you have this functionality in the to-do list where it will go green once you click on it, correct? Once the task
Yes,
has
sir.
been completed, that is correct.
Yes.
So instead of showing in the demo that yeah this turns green, you can just tell people the functionality of the working code behind it on the page itself. Okay, so it will show that you have things in your memory. You can use some technical terms if you
So
had to
you
use.
want me to explain the functionality on the web page itself?
Yeah, so some functionality of the website, not all. I'm not asking for every functionality that you have taken. So
Okay,
some
sir.
minor functionalities that I've used this function. This function has been used in this way. I've included this code in this function, then I've recalled it. So these kind of things so that you'll get technical language when you're
Sure, sir.
explaining. Okay.
Sure, sir.
Uh, Lastly, you show your codes and you tell, yeah, these are the functionalities that I've used, and you gloss over them rather quickly. Okay, because you'll
Okay,
have
sir.
to explain main functionalities on the web page itself.
Okay, sir.
that was all. And by the way, it was a good presentation. Keep it up.
Thank you,
Just
sir.
your voice modulation and that
Okay, sir.
explanation
Okay.
part. Mr. Thank you. Aditya, do put your mail into the chat, okay?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay. Ratiranjan Sahu, you can start a presentation.
Good evening, sir. Sir, is my screen visible?
Yeah, you are visible, your screen is not visible. Are you sharing? Yeah, now, okay. It did come, but then it went out.
It's nice view.
It has not been shared yet, but yeah, the screen for sharing has started, but I cannot see any content on it. Now it is visible, you can start.
Okay, sir. Good evening. My name is Ratiranjan Sahu. I'm from Web Development Group. For today, my presentation topic is to a Dr. Search website. So let's get started. Firstly, we understand what is the need of such a website. So basically, in there is a huge demand of medical science in today's activities, such as many people are getting sick, and in the COVID time there are lots of medical services in the area. So for the to avoid this rushing to the medicals, there is a vast need of doctors websites. So the person in the online. When the appointment is done, they can go to the particular doctor on on that date. So this will help to avoid the traveling in the hospital. So in I think
Ratiranjan, your
so
voice is getting cracked. I think your bandwidth is low. Try to do something about it now, because then you will not be audible.
can I audible?
Yes, you're audible, but just stop the screen sharing, okay? Reshare it. I think something is wrong with your net. Once you started sharing, your voice started to break. That's it. So while he's coming back, we'll take Abhishek Kumar Singh's presentation.
Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you're audible. You can start your presentation now.
Maybe explain visual tools, sir.
Yeah, it is visible.
So good evening, everyone. I am from Python developer group, and I am presenting today. My topic is Google Crawler for digital marketing and sending mail using SMTP. So the main agenda of this part of the PPT is like what is Google Crawler, what are the features for this, and working advantages and conclusion. Like Google Crawler discovers and scans the website. We have to take a URL from the seed set, and when we take the input and when we search in, then we get the output from the in the JSON format, and then we can store it in our code. And the program generally used by search engines to scan the web, understand the content, and create the list of all websites that had that content. Google Crawler is mainly scale level. It can use it on any system. It's also robust, and its performance is quite good, and it's also efficient, and its quality is good like code. You can not have to write like many lines. It's just some lines. So this is the working of the crawler, and the crawler begins with one or more URLs that constitute a seed set. We have to search, then we have to write some, like you can write Google, Reddit, and Yahoo. Then it can search from that URLs only, and similarly, then it picks a URL from a seed set and fetches the web page present at that URL. And then web pages is passed to extract the link and hyperlink, and then extracted URLs are added to the visited URLs. The advantages of Google Crawler, it is very easy to use, and also it contains huge amount of pages. Like we have don't use to Google, we just write the code, and in the output of the code we find the data. And it also access the relevant web pages efficiently, and also it can collect data from different web pages. So this is the conclusion. Like Google Crawler plays a crucial role in the search engine and engine optimization process, and it mainly determines which web pages are included in search results and how they are ranked using PageRank algorithm. And understanding how the crawler works and optimizing website can help improve website visibility and search engine ranking. I can show this is the code for this. Here I have import all the libraries used for this, and in this at the keyword I enter a keyword, and here I can see the site list Quora.com and Reddit.com, and it travels in all site list, and he sees he pass the data from the URLs and return in the output. So I can I have to search for file structures, and here it is here we get out for all this, and we also convert it to the .csv file, and yes, it can be connected. You can see a data question.csv, and so that, and so I move on to the next topic, that is SMTP. So here I give the introduction, libraries used in this implementation of SMTP, advantages and conclusion. So SMTP stands for Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. It uses TCP, and it is protocol used for sending email messages between different email services. And SMTP is simple and reliable, and mainly used by email servers to send and receive messages. Libraries used for this are SMTP library. This is mainly for creating client session, and we have to enter our password and email ID, so it can create a session. Then MIME library and it let users exchange different kind of data, including audio, video, images, or any document you want to share. For implementation, we have to implement the library, set up email parameters, create the message, set up the SMTP session, and then we send the email. With the help of this, we can support bulk mailing. It is very quick, and we send the message constantly. So SMTP is an essential component of email, and it plays a crucial role in the modern communication, allowing individuals and organizations to send and receive message quickly and efficiently across the internet. And I can share that. So here it is, like yeah, first I have to include SMTP link and all the language used for this. Then here is the email content. Yes, sir, ma'am. This is sender address, password, receiver address. Then you have to create an object of type MIME multipath. And this we have to like message from admin this and message to this, and what is the subject of message, like new task assigned. And then we attach email content HTML. If you want to attach any file, then we can write here, and then we can attach file and then set up the payload and quotas and other things. And here we can create a session, start session, login, and send icon. And I sending an email to this email to 2019-06. So yes, I can create from here on for my mail. I have to refresh it. So here it comes. I have received the mail at time 8:28 p.m. So that's all from this. Sir, I have another presentation. So this is for overview of Python web framework. I created a report on this and already submitted on the web fellow. So basically, a framework is a collection of packages and modules used to develop software and help developers. While learning Python, I will come across Python frameworks used to mainly working with Python efficiently. The three major Python frameworks that I am familiar with are Django, Flask, and Fast API, and they have come in handy in various use cases. Let's see each framework is about. So for Django, I like Django Flask. In each topic, I will discuss pros, cons, and use cases of each framework, and then I compare the three frameworks, and then I put up the conclusion. So here is the pros of Django. The Django code structure is very efficient, making it easy for developers to add more functionality to their websites. And also it contains REST framework, and basically is a software architecture style that defines a set of constraints to be used when created web services in Django. It is a flexible toolkit, and also REST is the general framework, while Django REST framework is a specific REST framework used in Django. Django mainly emphasizes security by providing defense against joint synchronization and CSRF attacks. Django is a free and open source like this, and these are the detail of Django. So mainly it is popular for its robust and straightforward nature. It is one of the most popular framework globally and used in giants like Instagram, YouTube. So this is the cons, and built-in custom CRM for this. Internal data, iOS and Android applications supporting web-based applications, photo-based verification, and emails. Sorry, sir. I think I missed. Like, sir, I have huge cases and cons. I think I am getting property if there is some mistake from my side. So I come here from Flask. Flask is a microwave framework written in Python. Microwave framework is a web development framework with an easy setup and can be used in developing minimalistic web applications. Flask can work with options like template engines such as ORM, caching, and authentication. It was created to build web apps with a Python programming language. It was designed to be easy, fast, and to be scale up complex application microservices. Also more like an Apple full plan by the creator, and on first of April where he worked like and work and Jinja. Pros of Flask is flexible and compatible. Most part of the Flask has the possibility of changing, which is very unlikely for some other web framework. Flask allow unit testing and would enable you to transit to a web framework by tweaking some extensions because of its built-in development server, integrated support, etc. Flask is a beginner friendly because of its simplicity, giving developer room to learn and obtain the better. It also enables developers to create app effortless and quickly. Flask uses module which is third-party involvement, which is maybe problem for security. Flask has a singular source that implies that it will handle every request in turns, one after the other. So regardless of how many multiple requests, it will still take them in turns, which take more time. Also, it is not advisable to use it for high-load enterprise software because it has not many inbuilt libraries, so we cannot use it for high-build software. Mainly Flask used in e-commerce system, Twitter bot, online social media, and static files. Here, Fast API. Fast API is a modern open source, fast and highly performant Python web framework used for building web APIs and is based on Python 3.6 standard types. First, Fast API validate the developer data type even in deeply nested JSON request. Fast API is built on a standard like JSON schema or 2.1 OpenAI. Fast API makes it easy to build a GraphQL API with a Python library called Graph in Python. Python Fast API is relatively new, so community is small compared to other frameworks, and regardless of detailed documentation, there is very little external education material. Also, one of the main cons of Fast API is that it is not used for full stack websites. It's mainly used for creating APIs. And this is use cases of Fast API. Fast API works perfectly, and if you concern is speed, Netflix uses it for internal crisis management. It also scales perfectly in developing production-ready machine learning models because ML model work best in production when they are mapped beyond JavaScript and deployed in microservices. Here I'm comparing Django, Flask, and Fast API based on their packages, community performance, flexibility. Django Flask and Fast API. Django has the most packages that enable you code. It's full stack development framework, unlike Flask and Fast API. Also, community server of Django is quite strong. Flask is also quite strong, but like Fast API is new, so it has a small community because and performance Fast API the leisure because it is speed oriented. Then next to Flask because it has not much libraries, and finally Django. Flexibility is something developers value a lot, and Flask is more flexible than Django. Fast API, on the other hand, is flexible code-wise and does not restrict the code layout. Like in job openings, every three framework have job openings, but Fast API is new, so it may have some less openings than compared to Django and Flask. Django, and compared to education, Django is more strenuous to learn, but has many online material and resources. Flask is easy to straightforward and has many online materials. While Fast API is the easiest, if I is starting with tutorial, but has the fewest online sources. So after looking at them, I might be able to choose which works best for you. But for every project, according to need, we can choose what to use, like for Flask, Django, Fast API. So I have submitted report. So here is the report that I have submitted. All these things are mentioned here, and this is it. Thank you. That's all from my side. Hello, sir.
Okay, so Abhishek, that was a very detailed presentation from your side. It was a good presentation overall. I'll be giving you your review on your mail as well.
Okay, sir.
Don't worry about the review. You'll receive it on your mail. At the same time, can you please put your email ID in the chat and give me the
Yes.
topic for the first presentation?
Okay. I will start.
Yeah, just your email ID and topic for the first presentation. Both of those put in the chat, okay?
The topic of this presentation.
Of your first presentation first. You gave
So,
three
so
presentations.
this is my first presentation.
No. You give three topics, correct?
Yes, sir.
Presentation for three topics. I want your first topic.
Okay, sir. Okay, sure.
First topic, name of the first topic in the chat and your email ID. Okay.
Okay, sure, sir. Sure. Thank you.
We have Mahaveer.
Hello, sir.
Good evening, Mahaveer. You can start your presentation.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, is my screen is visible?
Your full screen is visible. You can start.
Okay, sir. Good evening, sir. My name is Mahabir Bhajibhakare. I am from Java Development Group. Today, my task name is implementing Spring Security in a Java web application. So, in that presentation, I follow these contents. First one is what is the Spring Security. Second one is history of Spring Security, then features of Spring Security, and the steps to implement the security in the Java web application, and their advantages and summary of the presentation. So, what is Spring Security? As we know, in the web application, to secure our application and the data regarding that, we have to use the security. So, Spring Security is nothing but a framework which provides various security features like authentication, authorization, and these two methods are used to create a secure Java enterprise application. So it is nothing but the sub project of Spring framework, which is started in 2003 by the Ben Alex, which is later than released under the Apache license in 2004 as a Spring Security 2.0.0. So moving forward to the history of the Spring Security. In late 2003, a project which is a ASCII security system for Spring started with the intention to develop a Spring-based security system. So initially they used a simple security system to implement and does not release officially. Up to 2004, the 20 developers using this code implementation internally. But in 2007 project this security code project is renamed as Spring Security and widely accepted by the countries. So next is authentication and authorization, the main two processes in the Spring Security. So the first process is the authentication. So authentication is nothing but the process of knowing and identifying the user that wants to access. So authorization is nothing but the process to allow authority to perform the actions in the application. As we seen in the diagram, that there is a login screen, welcome page, and account information. As we know, the welcome page and account information page are the authorized pages, and login screen is the initial interface which seen by the user. So as we know, in the application, we provide the credential in the login page. So in the credential, we supply the application the username and password. So first of all, this username and password is registered in the account and database section. So this app first authenticate the correct username and password and identify the user. Is the user is proper for the application, and is it appropriate to show the authorized pages to the user. So after the authentication, the next process is the authorization, where after the login, we can see the welcome page and the other accesses provided for the particular user according to their role and other application. So next one is the features of Spring Security. As we know, there are the various Spring Security features, which is the first Spring Security feature is nothing but the LDAP, which is the lightweight directory access protocol. So it is nothing but the open application protocol for maintaining and accessing the distributed directory information services on the internet protocol. So the next feature of the Spring Security is the single sign-on. So this single sign-on application allows user to access the multiple application with the help of single account, which is nothing but the single username and password. So the next one is the JAS, which is nothing but the Java authentication and authorization service in the login module. So it is the pluggable authentication module implemented in Java Spring Security, which support the authentication process. So next one is the basic access authentication. So it is nothing but the simple authentication process which provide the application to access the user, appropriate user. So the next one is the digest access of authentication. This feature allows us to make the authentication process more secure than the basic authentication. As we know, it asks the browser to identify the user by before sending sensitive data over the internet. And the last one is the software localization. The software localization is nothing but it allows the application to allows the developers to make the interface in any language. So next one is there are the various steps to implement the Java security in the Java web application. So as you know, the first step is to create an unsecure web application with the help of Spring Boot. Then set up the Spring security, which is the second step, and then the run application. So I want to present my implementation. So here is my code implementation regarding the Spring security. So first of all, I have made a Spring security basic name project, under which there are the various I have created the packages, which is nothing but the com.mahabir.spring.security. In that there are the various. This is the main application class. So also I have made a one configuration class for the Spring security and the main controller class. So in the controller class, 1 minute. So this is the controller class which extending the package which is a demo.controller. So in that I have made one class name is a message controller, where there is a get message is a method is returning the welcome to this Java world string. So this command so I have created I have supplied the REST controller annotation for that class and a get mapping for the command /.public. So there is the configuration is there. So here is the configuration class is there, where I have created a Spring security config with the bin in. So here the username we can provide the username and password, and regarding that the role, which is the user. So we can provide and access the what kind of user is there, and with what username and password is there. And first of all, the first process is authentication, then the authorization. So if we run the project, so when we run the project, so it is running. It is loading. Taking load. So this our Java application is running. So here we can see the Java is running at Tomcat server, which is then we provide the we create a new tab, and so here we create a new tab and provide a local host and provide a message. So here there is a login page is there. So as we know what is the username and password, as we know there is a username is Java and password is also Java. So we provide the username and password. So as we run the project, this is authentic. What happened? There is one problem. Here, running again. And message. Sorry, the command is public. Sorry, localhost dot public. And when we provide Java, then it is getting the welcome to the Java world string. I forgot the command for that. So next one is the advantages of the Spring Security. So as we know, the Spring Security has various advantages. So first one is comprehensive support for the authentication authorization. The Spring Security provides the support, comprehensive support in for the processes like authentication authorization. The second one is the protection against the common task. Then the servlet API integration. As we know, in the Java security, the integration, the API integration here is in the form of servlet. So it supports the servlet API integration. So integration with the Spring MVC. As we know, the Spring in the Spring the Spring security is integrated in the Spring application. So this Spring MVC is integrated with the Spring MVC Spring security. So also it is portable and it provides the CSRF protection and Java configuration support. So the summary in this task, I have learned how to implement the Spring security in the Java web application using the Spring Boot, and also learned the various features which Spring security providing in the web application, and work of secured Java web application, and advantage of the Spring security. So these are the references which I have used for the task completion. So is there any questions are there? Then please ask the question. Thank you.
Okay. Mahaveer, the presentation has good information. It was
Yes.
presented well, and you had the flowcharts, which were also told well, which were explained well.
Yes, sir.
Mostly it is a positive feedback from me. If there is a negative feedback or if there is something that you need to improve, do pay attention to the review that I gave on the mail itself. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Mahabir.
Yes, sir.
Mahaveer and Mahabir, both is yours.
No, sir.
Yeah.
No,
So
sir.
you can, Mahaveer, you can stop. I'm asking Mahabir, BIR, to start his presentation. And Mahaveer, do put your email ID in the chat, okay?
Okay, sir. Acha, sorry.
Mahaveer, you can now start your presentation now.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay, sir, I'm going to present.
Yeah, you can first.
Is my screen visible, sir?
Yes, that is visible. You can start.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Mahabir Bhajibhakare, and my project is on continuous integration. And I'm from Web Development Group. Okay, I'm going to the second page. Okay. Okay. What is my agenda of this project is uh, what I have done in this project. Basically, in continuous integration, I have like what are the features I have added: traditional integration and its problem. What is continuous integration? Benefits. What are hands-on benefits is? What are the tools used for continuous integration, like Jenkins plugins? Okay, why we use continuous integration? Previously, in a few years back, we use a traditional integration. Why we are now using continuous integration? Basically, traditional integration, and there is we use a different kind of phases like development phases, coding, and then testing, and then deployment process. We do as a separate process, but with the help of continuous integration, we integrating a whole in a single unit. That's why we are using continuous integration. And moving to the next slide, I have added one use case diagram. Basically, one a software company, Itoro. Basically, he has a different kind of services like cloud share services. They have a servers. They are using .NET languages to code their different type of servers and different kind of things. Cloud shares. So basically, software developers want to work on a all single thing with a integrated form. So basically, that's why we use a continuous integration. In next slide, what the problem with traditional integration? Okay, in a traditional integration, we have to rewrite the code and different again and again we have to write a code. So basically, that is a very hectic for their software developer industries. That's why continuous integration come into the force. Uh, Solution, basically with the help of CI and CD, basically we initiate a code commit, build, then we deploy on a same repository. That's help us in a continuous integration. That's a beneficial part of the continuous integration. So basically, I have also added a solution of continuous integration. Basically, developer commit from a like repository, build, then unit test, puppet, and then deploy in a same repository to make a changes. That are the features with the help of continuous integration. Basically, we use Jenkins as a tool. Uh, Basically, why we are using and what their solutions is. So basically, there are the four phases. First, what we are doing is we are splitting the entire chunk of code into segments. Again, what we are doing is we are with their small codes, we are managing and separately we are doing their codes and integrating that multiple time of codes. And lastly, we are deploying in a same like systems for usable model. And this is the what is a continuous integration comes from? Continuous integration is a like a software development where members of team what they are doing is basically they daily commit their work from repository and make changes for a entirely different base of their work. So basically, the term come from Martin Fowler. So for make a changes in the code repository. What are the benefits of continuous integration? So basically, it's reduce integration, higher code quality. It's increased code quality. Basically, is for team, less deployment time. Basically, what it is doing with the help of continuous integration, basically we are making changes in a very small way. Like one team is doing different work, one team is doing different work, and their integrated work is like the whole work which is added up. That's make changes for the organization. That's why we are using continuous integration. What are the requirement of continuous integration system? Version control system. Basically, we use a Git, spare server, or a workstation or a virtual machine, and hosted CI tool solution. And fourth is Jenkins, TeamCity, Bamboo. We are using some tools. Most important tool is Jenkins, which is a ultimate continuous integration tool. Jenkins, what is Jenkins? Jenkins is an open source automation tool written in Java with a plugins built for a continuous integration purposes. Plugins allow integration of various DevOps stages. Basically, how Jenkins plugin work? Basically, Jenkins plugins, with the help of Jenkins plugins, suppose any small team is testing in their organization code. So basically, that notifications goes to the other team members too. That this is a this changes has been made. Our new report to be changed in an organization, that new features to be added, code to be added, and automatically that is deployed to the networks. That are the features of Jenkins. That's why we are using uh, continuous integration. And thank you. That's from my side, sir.
The presentation was presented very nicely. You had all the graphs, you had the information and you had the flow of the information in order.
Yes, sir.
So that was good. Secondly, if you look at the presentation and all those things, then it is fine, but you could have created a demo where you're doing these things. If like so have you ever used GitHub? Have you ever used GitHub?
Yes, sir. I have used GitHub.
So I think that is also working on the continuous integration.
Yes, sir.
So just small demo about GitHub, that how your codes have to be committed, because I think they have a application for the desktop as well, where you have to commit the codes to the main repository of the GitHub, correct?
Yes, sir.
So it is kind of related. You're getting the point. Just a small demo of the same task that you have done, to
Yes,
give a
sir.
clearer idea of the task.
Yes,
That
sir.
is all that is required. Overall, the presentation was very nice. Keep the
Yes, sir.
presentation up. Okay. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
And the same time, please put your email ID in the chat. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, Mahaveer, you can go now.